Hey everyone, Andre here. Just wanted to jump on here real quick and please bear with me. I have laryngitis, so I'm gonna do the best I can. But I wanted to jump on here quickly because some of our friends and family may now be experiencing a lot of anxiety in the wake of the recent elections because they may possibly belong to one or more groups that both the society and the government has now publicly declared itself hostile towards. So I took it upon myself to prepare a list of ways in which I think you can best support them in this new environment. Number one, ask them what the best way to support them is. Ask them if they need advice, do they need to be heard, or if they simply need space. Sometimes your friends just need a little bit of space to figure things out on their own. Sometimes they need a vent and they just want to be heard. And sometimes they outright need advice because they would like to get your take on what the best way to handle the situation is. So ask them. Number two, for now, please refrain from saying anything that alludes to it's going to be okay or moving on. I understand that your intentions will be coming from the best place possible, but remember that these events may have unlocked new fears or opened up old wounds and triggers that you may not even be aware of. So again, number three, ask questions. Asking questions is a good way to find out what the best way to support them is at this time. And number four, listen to understand and not simply to respond. At this time, any advice that you provide should be geared towards addressing any specific concerns your friends might bring up. For example, in the case of women, it may be concerns about accessing OBGYN care. In the wake of the Roe v. Wade decision, many women's health providers may have closed, and some female friends of yours may not have easy access to essential care nearby anymore. If possible, providing them with a list of resources can be a quick way of providing real, palpable support and resources that they need. Also, in the case of LGBTQ families and friends, the threat of legislation to undo protections or outright criminalize their bodies and their very existence is now a very tangible reality. Understand that even though right now they're fine, your friends and family may not feel this way. And I'd like to take some time to expand on this for allies and supporters, because the outcome of this election gave this very, very vulnerable community and other vulnerable communities a strong message of isolation, a message that society was willing to throw their rights to go about their day in a carefree manner under a bus. A message was broadcasted to those who already hate them that it's okay to abuse them. And the possibility of the expansion of absolute police immunity plus an unsympathetic judicial system leaves these community with a lot of anxiety before the prospect of having little to no recourse if the worst were to happen to them. And that's just to shed a little bit of light of what may be going through their minds. So if you have immigrant friends and families as well, even though some of them may have legitimate documentation such as birthright citizenship, green cards, or being naturalized citizens, listen to their concerns to identify specific ways in providing them with material support as well. Because speaking from first-hand experience, I can say that the source of our irrational fear does not stem from the fear of being physically removed from the country by force. Even when the new administration takes control, those actions would require a massive logistical operation. The real fear stems from the very real possibility that legislation can be swiftly passed to reclassify or undo our statuses, creating all sorts of other issues, from the loss of jobs, loss of housing, loss of income, and even the ability to engage in gig work, because when required to file taxes, this may have us face other legal and fiscal nightmares, because the work that we did under those circumstances can now be considered illegal work because of the new undocumented status we may be under. Even if these laws were to get passed, we are aware that they will certainly be challenged in the courts, but throughout that process, your friends will be facing a lot of anxiety from being left in limbo. And one more thing, some of your friends may be facing intersecting concerns from the list I mentioned earlier. In other words, they may have a combination of issues coming together, for example, if they're female, immigrant, and or part of the LGBT community, hence having a whole storm of fears bouncing around in their heads. So please be cognizant of that. Finally, I know I provided a lot of information, but please feel free to watch this as many times as you need and take notes if necessary. So as always, please be mindful and thread gently, because as you can imagine, Emotions are as raw as they've ever been for those who are now exposed to multiple layers of uncertainty about their future. Those of us like-minded must build a community of support and protection, because your friends in these groups feel a special kind of alone right now. Hug them, hold them, listen to them. Then get into action based on whatever they were able and willing to share with you as to the best ways in which you can both support and protect them. Thank you for listening.